Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show.
You know who it is.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, friends. It is a Thursday. It is May. Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh, it is May.
It's May 1st. Yeah, it's May 1st, dog. So we are well on our way to summer, aren't we?
We are. May is a great month. May is a month of hope and happiness.
It is?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because March is kind of gross, to be honest.
March is the best.
No, it's not.
Oh, my birthday's in it. St. Patrick's Day is in it. Pi Day is in it.
People think March should be spring.
STL Day is in it.
People think March is spring, but all of a sudden it's just like, it's February. Duh.
March is the best. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, welcome into the show from 9 to noon. Usually, that's when we are on, but today we're off a little early because Cardinals baseball happens again today. 314-436-7900. Drop us a voice message, won't you? You could do that from the Odyssey app, AUDACY. We're also streaming live if you want to look at us, and we are very handsome.
We are.
On Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Our account, and I swear to God, you better follow us or I am going to lose it, at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, so much for breaking Connor Hellebuyck's spirit. The Blues lose Game 5 in Winnipeg. They are down 3-2 in what is absolutely a must-win tomorrow night at Enterprise Center.
You are correct. And Missouri lawmakers approve a plan to allow homeschool students in the state of Missouri to play sports. We'll see if this moves forward to the governor's desk.
And the U.S. and Ukraine has struck a minerals deal. So what does that mean for the war? We're going to talk to Major Garrett today. He will join the show at 10:25.
But we're on to the next one. Hey, it's a playoff series. I thought that was their best game. I thought it was our worst game. We're on to the next one. I mean, we can analyze every part of it. They were better.
On to the next one. Great Jay-Z song.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
It was the Blues' worst game.
Yeah, it was the Blues' worst game. And I thought, the first couple of games of the series, they were outplayed. But that one last night, that was the worst of the games they were outplayed in. And it looked very, very different from games 3 and 4. So, I was hoping, Amy, like you were, they'd go in and just stick it to Connor. But they didn't. So maybe coming back to Enterprise Center tomorrow will make him nervous again. But the Blues have to win. They
is a must
win. Yep.
Yeah, it's a must win. See, this is why I said the other games were not a must win.
Let me take this back. It's not a must win. It is you have to win or you will die.
Yeah.
Which is worse than a must win.
It is. You could argue if that's the outcome. So here's the thing. There were a couple moments in last night's game that, okay, is this the trajectory defining moment of the game, or are the Blues going to come back? What's interesting is when the Jets came out of the gate and scored first, I wasn't worried. It was weird. I was actually about to tweet, I'm not worried. But then the Blues scored right away to tie it up. I'm like, well, now it's too late. Now I missed my chance. And I wasn't worried. And I felt like, okay, this is a team that can bounce back. And I thought that was great that they bounced back. I started to get worried. There were 2 moments, and both involved Oskar Sundqvist.
Oh,
The one was the paddle save on Oskar Sundqvist. It was a wide open net. And Connor Hellebuyck, who is a very technical goalie, probably because he studies more than any goalie in the history of the world, but he's a very technical goalie. He doesn't play with swagger. He plays by the book, and he made a swagger save.
Brilliant.
He made a paddle save.
Brilliant.
It was one of those that he was not making in the previous games, and I thought, oh, okay, that's a game changer. And then the embellishment call on Oskar Sundqvist.
Yeah, what was he doing, man?
So I actually don't think it was an embellishment.
He took a little bit of an elbow to the face, kind of, but it wasn't
he
like
grabbed his face. And the thing is, hockey players grab their face, but he really did get tripped up in the skates. It wasn't like he dove. He did get caught up. He did get hit in the face. I thought that was a weak call. I thought in the playoffs, it was especially weak call. I also thought that the game was called unevenly, not in the sense that it was for or against the Blues. It just wasn't consistent. I couldn't tell what call was going to be made or not.
Look, embellishment is a penalty. You have to know that as a player. And yeah, maybe he did get caught up, but what they called the embellishment on was like the elbow or the arm or whatever to the face, and he snapped back like he was LeBron, which just don't do that. Because yeah, maybe it's a weak call in the playoffs, and I don't disagree with you there, but don't give them an opportunity. Don't let them call something like that on you because it is completely unnecessary.
Yes, but again, why I'm a little more inclined to give Oscar Sundqvist the benefit of the doubt here. There are embellishment calls where you take a slash and you pretend like your arm was cut off, or you're tripped and you make it seem dramatic. I will say the elbow pads are tough, right? They're hard. If you take an elbow to the face, your initial reaction is to grab your face, because like whenever you get hit in the nose, in the mouth, you're going to grab your face in a way that looks more dramatic probably than maybe it calls for. Yeah, it could go either way. And like I said, some people were complaining about the refs, and I don't think they were calling for or against either team. It just felt, I was a little surprised what they did and didn't call. There were some calls. Bolduc got hit where the sun don't shine. He got speared, and it really was a spear. When you saw the replay, you're like, holy cow. And you can see how you would miss that. But there were also cross checks that the refs missed on both sides. On both sides. It was not favoring one team. But I think at the end of the day, the Blues did not look good. Their offense looked pretty bad. They looked just sclerotic in the neutral zone. They couldn't get anything going. That's what Winnipeg does, is they shut you down. They don't let you get speed in the neutral zone. And then they had bad turnovers, and they were putting the defense in a bad position. Jordan Binnington, outstanding. They
had one power play without a shot.
Yeah.
That you can't do that.
Jordan Binnington, stood on his head. Yeah. He was outstanding. The offense did not look good. And they will have to be better in this next game. They're not going to win if they look like they looked last night.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's sort of what they did last night, was what I was afraid of going into the series. I kind of thought Winnipeg might look like that every night against them. And, Blues rebounded at home. So I guess we have to hope that the home crowd is enough to get it done, right?
Well, the home team's won every game so far.
That's true. Look, it is... it's on you, Blues fans. If they don't win tomorrow night, your fault.
Well, obviously.
Your fault.
So bring it. You need to bring it. But I will say this. I'm looking ahead. You shouldn't look ahead. It's stupid. However, even though the home team has won every game in this series, Jordan Binnington in Game 7s. Nails.
This is what I'd say.
Love that guy.
How much would you bet right now?
You're not
not a million
dollars.
Bazillion dollars. How much would you bet that the only road team to win this series will be Game 7? If you had to put money on it right now.
The only road team to win this series?
To win in this series would be Game 7.
Yeah, well,
how much would you bet? That. How much would you bet right now? I'm asking you now.
$4.
$4.
But I feel very strongly about it.
That there is going to be one road win, and it will be Game 7 in Winnipeg.
Yes.
All right, $4.
Who do I pay?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
Do you pay me?
Yes. If it happens, I pay you. If it doesn't happen, you pay me. So either way, I win.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, either way, I win. So either I get the Blues winning Game 7 to advance.
Yeah.
Or I win $4.
Sports betting is never going to make it in Missouri if it's this confusing.
I'm not confused at all. Right. I'm taking advantage of you. I absolutely understand what's going on.
Okay.
So, Game 6. And you know how I love a Game 6.
This guy loves Game 6s more than he likes Game 7s.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm stupid for this, and that's fine. You can disagree with me. But here's my reasoning for loving Game 6. For anybody who's not heard it before, I love the uncertainty of not knowing if that's the last game or not. I love that. So I love going into game 6 knowing, okay, this might be the Blues' last game of the season, or there might be at least one more. We don't know yet.
But game 7 also has that because you could go
you're
to the
prepared.
next round.
You're prepared.
Yeah.
For a fact that somebody's out after that night.
Okay,
this is either the series goes on or it's over tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something about a game 6 I just love. And it always seems like a lot of the really cool stuff happens in games 6.
Would you feel that way if David Freese never existed?
Yeah, totally.
What game 6 do you go to other than David Freese?
Michael Jordan in Utah.
Was that his flu game?
No, that was not the flu game. That was not the pizza, the food poisoning. That was he hit the shot, the final shot with the Bulls to win a title. Game 6 in Utah.
Game 6 in Utah. Okay, So here's the thing. You know our text number because we love to hear from you.
Yep.
314-436-7900. Call or text. You can also leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. It can be about the Blues. It can be about game 6s.
Yep.
It can be about any of that. It can also be about what we're going to talk about next, which is Missouri lawmakers approving a plan to allow homeschoolers play in school sports in their respective public schools. It hasn't passed yet, but the lawmakers approved it. It might reach Governor Kehoe's desk. That's kind of interesting, too, if you have kids in that age group, if you have kids who have been homeschooled, no homeschool students, and whether or not they should play on the public school teams. So we're going to be asking your opinions on that as well. But yeah, do you like game 6 more than game 7?
No one's going to agree with me on this. I am on an island all by myself, and I am perfectly comfortable with this.
What if you showed up on that island? It was a real island, and the only other guy on that island was David Freese.
Well, I would say, sorry, you're not in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. But that wasn't on me.
No.
I just want you to know that. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, feel free to text us 314-436-7900 or call in. You could do that. And voice messages, record one and send it straight from the Odyssey app.
Do you know what I love? I love my Super Feet insoles. I do. I have run and walked and hiked 50,000 miles in them since 2006. Not the same pair. I've gotten some new pairs, obviously. I just put a brand spanking new pair in my brand new shoes for running because I'm coming back from injury. I love having the support of Super Feet insoles. So if you are dealing with knee pain, plantar fasciitis, that's what I had. Even back pain, and you're on your feet a lot, not just a runner, but a walker, a nurse, a teacher, someone who's on your feet all day, you can benefit from Super Feet insoles. Go to any of the 5 locations of Fleet Feet Sports. So Fleet Feet in St. Charles, Chesterfield, De Pere, South County, or O'Fallon, Missouri, and they will find the right Super Feet for you because there's all different arches, arch heights, low, high, firmer, softer. And also, here's the best part, you do not have to spend hundreds of dollars on your insoles. Mine cost $60. Insane. Best money that I spend. Visit Fleet Feet today for Super Feet insoles.
Hey, it's Jeff at Sachs Financial. Over the last 15 years, we've been able to help our clients focus on the fundamentals and tune out the daily grind by putting a great retirement plan in place. If you don't have one, find out how to get started at retiresafestl.com.
Do you know about the true crimes that inspired a Bruce Springsteen album? Or the murders AC/DC was blamed for? How about Taylor Swift's Violent Stalkers? Or the suspicious deaths of Brittany Murphy and River Phoenix? These stories and more are told in the Disgraceland podcast, hosted by me, Jake Brennan, every Tuesday, where I dive deep into subjects from the dark side of music history and entertainment. So follow and listen to Disgraceland on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, We will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So, if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and unenforceable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
1120 AM, 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
What's today? It's Thursday. Really? Feels like Tuesday.
Well, we asked for your feedback regarding Ranja's controversial take that a Game 6 is better than a Game 7. And Bill, who is watching on the YouTube, said, Chris and Amy, one word about Game 6s. David, freeze.
That's 2 words. It's not one word. We appreciate it, Bill.
Yeah.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
That's more than 2 words.
You didn't say 2 words. You said quick to the point.
You just said I got 2 words. Steve Nash and Chris Paul must see.
That's why I messed up, because I was trying to think of 2 words. I could have said that. Okay.
2 words.
Nash and Paul.
That's 3 words.
3 words. Wait, I said Nash and
I got
Paul.
one.
Bill is Charles Barkley. That's so good. I got 2 words for you. Nash and Steve Nash and Chris Paul.
Must-see TV.
That's like 8 words.
Multiple sentences.
Oh, that's the best.
NBA
Thank you, Bill, for listening.
Thank you, Bill.
And for watching us on YouTube.
The NBA on TNT.
This is the best.
So good.
Thankfully,
so
it's
good.
moving over to ESPN when they go there. Because
I thought Charles Barkley was not going. I thought that was the whole thing.
No, the whole plan is for the whole show to go.
What was the whole? I'm not doing anything but TNT.
I don't know. That's just
Bill gave us a thumbs up because he's a good sport.
Yeah, Bill is a great sport.
Thank you, Bill.
Just count your words first, Bill.
No, don't count them, because I think that was hilarious.
It was delightful.
It was
Thank you, Bill.
delightful. Okay, we also want to hear from you, 314-436-7900. This one hits close to home for me, and I know it is relevant to a lot of families out there. So there is a piece of legislation moving through Jefferson City that would allow homeschool students to play sports for their respective public schools. Now, growing up, and I homeschooled back in the pioneer days of homeschooling when people had never heard of it. I mean, now everyone's heard of homeschooling, but people had never heard of it. Most of the time, when I said I homeschooled, people would say, "Where's that?" or "What's that?" So we in Missouri were not allowed to play sports for our local public schools. In Florida, they are. It's usually called the Tim Tebow law because he was homeschooled. And I guess football is king. So they allowed him to play football for his public schools. So
if I'm not mistaken, there are over 30 states that allow it, right?
You know, that I don't know. I don't know how many states. I just know Missouri doesn't allow it. And it's gotten more popular. The last census showed that 11% of households have at least one homeschooled student in that household, 11% of households with school-aged children. So this plan is sponsored by Missouri Senator Ben Brown. It was approved in the House Wednesday, 91-53. The vote, it's going to head back to the Senate for a final vote. And there was a similar bill last year that fell short of passage, but this is on its way to Mike Kehoe's desk. And I think this makes sense to me. Homeschooling costs taxpayers $0. The taxpayer doesn't pay anything for a child, a parent who decides to homeschool their children. Homeschool parents still pay the taxes to the public schools, right? Like whatever your school district is, you're paying those taxes. And they have formed, it's funny, when I homeschooled, we were known for being really smart and not good at sports. We were just kind of, like not the athletic type. For me, not having high school sports didn't impact me because in high school, I played ice hockey and there were no high school girls ice hockey teams anyway. So I just played club hockey, which is what all the other high school girls were playing. But I had friends who homeschooled and then in their senior year or the last part of their senior year would go to Lafayette or Marquette so that they could play baseball and be seen by scouts or football or whatever it may be. And so I do think this offers a great option. And I don't know what the downside is. I saw some of the pushback in the article from Jeff Knight, who said he's worried about the quality of education that some homeschoolers are receiving and said they need to take at least one class per day to make sure the kids are getting educated. Representative Kathy Steinhoff, who I really respect, is a former teacher. She said it's flawed because homeschool students wouldn't have to keep their grades high in order to participate in activities like traditional students. And I just had to say those arguments, they're irrelevant or they're ignorant of the facts, which is that homeschool students overwhelmingly perform higher than public school and traditionally school students on every metric, whether it's standardized tests, high school, elementary standardized tests, ACT, SAT, and even Harvard. A Harvard study just came out and showed that homeschool students perform better emotionally, psychologically, and socially. Homeschool students are doing okay when it comes to education.
Yeah, this is, if we can have a completely different conversation about academics and homeschooling. What I know is that it's just not possible for everybody to do it, or even most people to do it. And most people aren't even considering homeschooling their kids. So that's a completely different discussion. When it comes to the sports, though, the side I would take on this is, what about the kids who do go to the school and maybe a roster spot? They don't make a team because a homeschool kid made a team.
Be better? I mean, it's just
No.
This
is amateur sports. That kid goes to the school. They go to class at that school. They have lunch at that school. They participate in school activities. They should have the opportunity to play over somebody who does not go to that school. And the way I would see it, and I know you were homeschooled, but forget that you were. Me forgetting that you were, this isn't a personal thing. I just see it like, if the school's not good enough for your kid to go to it, then it shouldn't be good enough for him to get to play a sport there.
So you're the first person that's made that argument, and I would listen to that argument. I would. I think there's more validity because we have another message, and thank you, from Millie on the YouTube. It said the downside is you'd have two different academic standards. And I'd say, yeah, it's a lot higher for homeschoolers. Homeschoolers score on average 15 to 25 percentage points higher.
Sure.
I mean, we have less than half of the kids in this country that go to public school can read at grade level. It's 13% in the city of St. Louis. Homeschool students have a much higher overall academic
But also,
standard.
as a homeschooler, you have more flexibility in your schedule throughout the day, right?
So I just think your argument that you made,
Yeah.
that's the first person I've seen make that argument, and that's an argument I'd listen to.
That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. We know prescription drug costs way too high, and this is something that affects almost everybody in the United States. And there are a number of pharmacists that are at Capitol Hill this week, gathering there in order to try and lobby and bring attention to the fact that it is so expensive. We're going to talk to Doug Hoey, who is the CEO of the National Community Pharmacists Association, about drug costs and this effort to try and bring them down. That is next on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. Homeowners, spring is here and there's no better time to sell your St. Louis home. But the agent you choose matters. So who should you call? Trusted Realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. This is Debbie Monterey, and here's why Gloria should be your first call. While the average realtor puts a sign in your yard and hopes your home sells, Gloria will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. In this market, you don't want to risk working with someone who doesn't have the guarantees, the buyers, or the experience to help you sell within your time frame and for the most money. Many realtors will overprice your home just to get your business, which can lead to your home sitting on the market with little or no offers and then price reductions. If you want to sell your home for 100% of market value or have Gloria pay you the difference, call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Well, the sun is kind of brightening up the clouds. It's 65 degrees outside right now, a high of 76 today with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Some gusty winds and hail are possible tonight, a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 71. Weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Since we opened our doors, UC Bank has been committed to the communities we call home. Building financial wellness, UC is proud to offer customized lending strategies and innovative resources to our vibrant communities. UC Bank, building community one family, one street, one city at a time. Member FDIC.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX 104.1 FM. And it is time to go to the guest line this morning. As we mentioned going into break, we all know that drug costs are through the roof. And for a lot of people who cannot afford them, something needs to be done in that area. And there are hundreds of pharmacists from around the country on Capitol Hill to meet with members of Congress to lobby to do something about it. To discuss it with us is the CEO of the National Community Pharmacists Association, Doug Hoy, with us on KMOX. Doug, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for visiting with us.
Yeah, thanks for the chance to talk with you about the independent pharmacies and the high cost of drugs and how we can keep them lower.
Yeah, so how can we keep them lower, and what is your path to doing so?
So everyone knows drug costs are going up, and the United States pays the most in the world, but far and away. And one of the features of the United States healthcare system that virtually no other country in the world has, and those other countries pay lower drug costs, are these middlemen called pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs. And in St. Louis, there's actually the largest PBM in the entire country is in your backyard in St. Louis. It's called Express Scripts.
Yep.
And these PBMs are owned by insurance companies. Express Scripts is owned by Cigna. And they have a motivation that the higher the cost of the drug goes up, the more money they make. And so what we're advocating here on Capitol Hill here in Washington, D.C., and there's a number of pharmacists from Missouri who are here adding to the national voice, is to say, look, we don't need this role of these middlemen who are just adding costs to the cost of prescription drugs. We need to they can have a role, but it should be an appropriate role. And we need to pay the pharmacies a flat fee, just a flat fee above what it costs them to buy the drug, and nothing more. And it's really simple. It's a simple, transparent, predictable model. And we've got some good traction. There's a lot of interest in Washington, D.C., especially with there's a lot, with DOGE coming in for government efficiency and trying to cut out government waste and give the taxpayers a better deal. We're getting a lot of interest from legislators to look at this more transparent system that eliminates the big role of the middleman.
Doug, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding about the PBMs is there are some like national pharmacies, like CVS, for example, that also operate as PBMs. And isn't there some effort to limit that, to say either you get to be a pharmacy or you get to be a PBM, you can't be both? Isn't there's something going on in that regard?
There is. They're actually big news for our industry. So just, south of Missouri and Arkansas. Arkansas passed a state law just signed by the governor, Governor Huckabee Sanders into law maybe 2 weeks ago, so very recently, that would say this conflict of interest, because we say it as a conflict of interest, and so did the state of Arkansas, that for these big insurance PBMs to also own pharmacies, and you gave a great example of CVS. CVS owns brick and mortar pharmacies, but then they also own these PBMs. They also own the insurance company Aetna. So when you have one person owning the insurance company, the prescription drug manager, and the pharmacy, it creates this conflict of interest. And what was happening, or what is happening, is that the big insurance companies, Aetna or Caremark's the name of the PBM, would say, hey, we can make more money if we steer patients who are enrolled with Aetna or enrolled with Caremark into our CVS pharmacies. And in Arkansas, they said, look, we're paying more money as a state, and we're not going to put up with that. It's hurting our pharmacies too. It's causing pharmacies to close. In the last 5 or 6 years, the country has lost 10% of all the pharmacies in the country have closed, not just independents, but independents and chains. So Arkansas is kind of the tip of the spear. They're one down, 49 to go, of saying this conflict of interest is not good for taxpayers. It's not good for citizens. You got to be one or the other. Pick your choice, but you can't serve two masters. You've got to be one or the other. Express Scripts has a big mail order pharmacy, so they don't have brick and mortar stores like the CVS pharmacies, but they have an enormous mail order pharmacy that also presents that conflict of interest.
This is kind of a 101, almost a dumb question, but why do we need pharmacy benefits managers in the first place?
It's really not a dumb question at all. And I know that's like a reflex thing to say when someone says it's a dumb question. It really is not, because the whole system I think it's intentionally complex. It's very difficult to track where the dollars are going. So why do we need PBMs? Why did they start in the first place? Well, they started about 30 or 40 years ago, and they actually served a good purpose. Back then, patients would buy a prescription drug, and then they'd have to, it was called the shoebox effect. People would throw the receipt in a shoebox, and then at the end of the year, tax year, they take those receipts out of the shoebox and try to get repaid for them. And what the PBMs helped do, again, 40 years ago, was to make that an electronic process. And in fact, pharmacies were one of the first healthcare providers where the transaction was electronic. And so in the late 80s and early 90s, a patient could come into the pharmacy, and let's just say their copay was $10. The patient would pay the $10, and then the pharmacy, let's just say the drug cost the pharmacy $50. Patient would pay $10. The pharmacy would get paid back $40, because remember, the drug cost them $50. And then the pharmacy would get maybe a $7 or $8 dispensing fee, 40 years ago. So it was really simple, and it made it easy for the patient. They didn't have to have, file these receipts, go through all the paperwork. So it really was a good service. But what's happened over time is that these PBMs have merged and consolidated. And so now 3 of the PBMs, including Express Scripts is one of them, Caremark, the CVS one is the other, and then United Health, of course, has a PBM. Just those 3 PBMs control 80% of all the prescription traffic in the United States. And so they've gotten too big to fail. And so it used to be that the drug manufacturers, that they were the ones kind of raising the prices and causing things to become so expensive. But that's changed in the last 5 or 10 years. The PBMs have gotten so big and so powerful that they call the shots. They can say to the drug manufacturer, look, we're not going to pay for your drug, which means patients can't get your drug unless you give us some rebates. You give us some payola to include your drug on our formulary. Otherwise, the patient can't get it. So the PBM has morphed from this nice, good bread and butter service to kind of this dragon with fangs that is controlling where patients can get their medication, how much they pay, and which drugs they get. The PBMs sometimes overrule physicians and often overrule pharmacists on which drugs patients can get. So it's kind of a nice little puppy that grew up into be a pit bull.
And to that point, I think you described it with them throwing their weight around. But who said, okay, we'll let the PBM decide that I can't get this doctor-recommended procedure, or I should say medicine. I can't get this doctor-recommended medicine. Who said okay to that, allowing them to be the highest tribunal?
Yeah, sort of the judge, the jury, and the executioner is, it's really our healthcare system has allowed that. So, I mean, technically, I'm sure if you had a PBM on, they'd say, oh, that's not true. A patient can get the medication that their physician prescribed. So technically that probably is true, but what they don't say is that, but we're not going to cover it.
Right.
So the patient's left, let's just say their benefit makes that $1,000 drug be a $100 drug. Of course, the patient's paying monthly premiums to help offset that. But if they don't use their insurance, or if the drug's not covered, let's just say they have to pay the entire $1,000. So yes, it's technically a choice, but it's not much of a choice because the patient has to pay the full brunt or the majority of the cost of the drug. And our healthcare system has allowed that. The structure of our the benefit design, how the healthcare benefit is designed. You've got the PBMs. Again, the higher the cost of a drug, the bigger rebate, the more money they're able to extract out of a manufacturer. So at one point, they were interested in keeping dollars low, the cost of drugs low, but now the higher the better. And that trickles down, of course, to higher healthcare premiums, health insurance premiums, higher costs at the counter. And also it's the economic environment for the pharmacies. You think, oh, well, at least the pharmacies are making some money out of this. They're not at all. Pharmacies are closing left and right. Like I said, 6,000 pharmacies have closed, have contracted. There's 6,000 fewer pharmacies in the United States today than there were just 7 years ago.
So people are listening to this and they're wondering, okay, what's being done to lower costs for us? Is it going to happen? You said earlier that it seems like there's a bipartisan interest in getting something done here. So what's the real likelihood and how does it happen?
We think there's a high likelihood. I will say there's been actually some frustration from our pharmacy lens because the PBM legislation that would reform some of their business practices to make it, again, we're interested in transparency for the patient, simplicity for the patient, and predictability for the patient and for the pharmacy, and how much they pay and how much the pharmacy gets paid. That's what legislation that we support. Our organization, we represent the pharmacy owners in the United States, 19,000 independent pharmacies across the country. That's what this legislation would do. And it's, the Washington, D.C. environment is, no surprise to anyone if they're reading or listening to the radio or reading news, highly polarized. However, PBM reform is highly bipartisan. It's passed committees, committees 26-0, and almost unanimously. What's holding it up, though, is, this is important, it would save taxpayers, this PBM legislation would save taxpayers $5 billion. $5 billion savings. So it's good for patients. We think it would be good for pharmacies too. What's holding it up is somewhat the toxic environment in Washington. So because it saves money, it's a question of in what package does it get put into. Right now, there's a big budget bill that's being worked on in the House, and we're told it'll be included in that. We've been told it would be included in the bills that were needed to fund the government that were passed in December and then passed again in March. It's been frustrating from our standpoint because, hey, this saves $5 billion, and who couldn't use a $5 billion savings? We're told, though, by House Majority Leader, Speaker of the House Johnson, and then Senate Majority Leader John Thune, that it's going to pass. It'll be in reconciliation. We're just very anxious. Our pharmacy owners and the patients we serve, every day a pharmacy is going out of business because of the PBMs. And so every day they wait, it's one more pharmacy, one more small business that closes, and one more community that loses access to its local pharmacy. So we're antsy. We're ready for Congress to do its job.
And people are antsy to bring drug costs down, because that's the most important thing, is what people have to pay for the medicine they need. And for a lot of people, a lot of that stuff is unaffordable. So they are absolutely the most important part here. Doug Hoy, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Doug is the CEO of the National Community Pharmacists Association, joining us on 104.1 FM KMOX. Hey, some breaking news, Amy. CBS News is reporting that the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, and Alex Wong, his deputy, are leaving their posts. I'm assuming this is after the Signalgate stuff. So the Signal chats, and I guess that's the person who's falling on the sword, or the people.
Wow. Well, I guess maybe Pete Hegseth is closer to doing what Trump wants him to do, which is get it together.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Did you see this next?
All right. I bring up mosquitoes because we've had all this rain, and we've got a deck that's low. It's not like the second story deck. It's that first story deck. And I feel like when you have that, I don't know, it becomes a breeding ground for for bugs and mosquitoes. And so we call Rottler and we get their mosquito program. Rottler takes the bite out of mosquitoes. Don't let mosquitoes keep you from enjoying time outdoor. They can locate and treat mosquito breeding sites with a product specifically formulated to control mosquito larvae for weeks at a time. That significantly reduces the mosquito population around your home, which means you can sit outside and barbecue and listen to the Cardinals game and have a Bud Light and not like keep slapping your legs because you're getting bitten. That ruins the party. So visit Rottler. They can take care of that. Also want to let you know that they protect against fleas and ticks. So in addition to their mosquito control, their Signature Plus program is an effective measure to stop fleas and ticks from invading your yard. Like mosquitoes, fleas and ticks can carry potentially dangerous diseases to both people and pets. Rottler will take care of you A to Z. Visit them today, rottler.com, and get a free inspection.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Hey, Ranj, did
Yeah.
you know it's National Password Day?
It is?
Yeah, that's it. I have nothing else to say on that point other than it's National Password Day.
Do I need to change mine?
I don't think so. I think this is one of those where there's no action needed from you.
Oh,
We're just
great.
celebrating.
Great. So I'm not getting the email that says change your password in 5 days, now in 4 days, in
Right.
3, and then you get the countdown.
Countdown.
Then you're locked out.
Yeah. Nope. It's just everybody congratulate themselves on their password.
Why does everything have to have a password?
I
Too
don't
many
know.
passwords.
There's a meme where a hacker says, "Hey, I have all your passwords." And the person who got hacked said, "Awesome. What are they?" I need them.
That's awesome. Amy, have you heard about sperm racing?
Unfortunately, I have.
So last week in Los Angeles, the first ever sperm race was held.
Can you give us more details on how exactly?
So it was an event to raise awareness for declining male fertility.
Okay.
And so they had this whole event in front of a crowd, and they had a number of young men participating in it. Well, they donate it ahead of time.
Okay.
They don't do it in front of the crowd. They did it beforehand. So then the sperm are placed under a microscope.
Yep.
And it's magnified 100 times and then shown on the video screen. And they go through basically a course. It's a race course.
Yeah.
And the winner of the sperm got $10,000.
And baby.
It was a 20-year-old student from USC named Tristan Milker, which is a
wow.
it's either
Interesting
unfortunate or perfect name for the winner of the sperm race.
You know how they say baseball is a game of failure, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just not as much as sperm. Most of those guys don't make it.
Well,
there's like a bazillion of them.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And sometimes none of them make it.
So in reality,
What's wrong?
all of us, everybody on Earth has won a race. At least once.
That's right. That's
Right?
a good way to put it.
And
You may have lost our Alabama tickets contest, but you won the sperm race.
you didn't have a name yet, but you won a race.
Yeah.
How about that? So in order to prepare, Tristan Milker,
I feel like it's unfortunate.
he gave up alcohol.
Uh-huh.
He exercised regularly and slept 8 hours a day ahead of his matchup.
I wonder if he stopped riding bikes. I've heard that that's all I know is
Really?
I had a friend who was a triathlete and he had a bunch of bikes. They're so weird. They're way weirder than runners. And they had trouble having kids, but then they did have like boom, 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 4 kids. And he made his wife apologize to his bikes.
Wow. Actually, I kind of appreciate that.
He's like, go outside and say you're sorry.
It is the Chris and Amy show. We're going to be giving away tickets to see Alabama before the show is over at 10:40 today. We're done at 10:40 because the Cardinals pregame show is right after that, and you're going to get to listen into Cardinals baseball again today. By the way, Kevin in Manchester, or from Manchester, on his way to Chicago, listening to the show, says, Happy May 1st. That means it is only 4 more days until Sinkhole de Mayo. That's what it's called in St. Louis now because we're just a city of sinkholes.
What day is
May 5th.
What day is May 5th? It's a Monday.
Is it this Monday coming up?
Yes.
Yep.
We'll be at the Billikens Golf Classic.
That is correct.
Anyway, I was going to say, wouldn't it be nice if we broadcasted next to a sinkhole?
Maybe we'll broadcast over one and we'll fall into it. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. When we come back, voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney joins the show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
It is 10 o'clock and we have cloudy skies in downtown St. Louis. It is 65 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy Alex Wong will be leaving their posts in the Trump White House, according to multiple sources familiar with their departure. Waltz is blamed for including the editor of The Atlantic in a group chat on military strikes. The St. Louis Development Corporation is meeting right now and expected to vote on a potential leadership change, whether to replace Neil Richardson as CEO with Otis Williams, who previously served in that role and is expected to be an interim appointment. Our Sean Malone is at that meeting now. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller says there is progress on a trade deals, and says that countries all over the world are desperate and dying to make deals with the U.S.
We'll end up with a deal in these cases where, yes, the other countries obviously will have their own demands and their own interests, but nothing will go into effect that doesn't serve the interests of America and the American people.
The economy contracted in the first 3 months of the year. President Trump is blaming former President Biden. Others point to the Trump tariffs.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris, who has not ruled out another run for the White House, made her most extensive remarks since leaving office.
Some people are describing what's been happening in recent months as absolute chaos. And it's certainly true of those tariffs. Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
5 cases of parvovirus in dogs at St. Louis County Animal Care and Control has forced the adoption center to temporarily halt operations. KMOX's Maria Kina spoke with Deputy Director of County Health, Dr. Landris Burris.
What are your concerns with this? I used the word outbreak before. Mitch said to me, well, it's not an outbreak. It's only a few dogs.
That's correct. It is not an outbreak. As I stated, we are taking just precautionary approaches on the limited number of cases that we do have in order to reduce the spread of it within the shelter.
The shelter is expected to reopen today. A woman believed to be the world's oldest person just died short of her 117th birthday. Sister Ina Canabaro, a Brazilian nun, was born in 1908. She would have been 117 later this month. The Missouri History Museum has officially dedicated its newly renovated entrance on Lindell. It's the Edward and Margaret Emo Family Plaza. The Emos donated $1.2 million for the plaza that also serves as a gathering space for the museum's Twilight Thursday free concerts. It is going to be interesting weather for their Thursday concert this evening at the museum. We will have clouds breaking for some sunshine, but a chance of a shower or thunderstorm around and a high of 75, maybe a spotty evening thunderstorm. Then tomorrow, more clouds than sun, a thunderstorm in the afternoon or evening and a high of 68. Currently, it is 65 degrees in downtown St. Louis. At 10:03, I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit.
We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
The Cardinals would love to turn that leadoff hit by pitch into another run and make life a little easier for Helsley.
Just get one more. I mean, I don't want to be greedy. I just want one more.
Well, how about three more with one big swing here?
All right, I'll be greedy.
The pitch. A swing, and there's a high fly ball, right center field, hit deep to the wall. We're greedy. It's a gunner. A home run for Victor Scott. A 3-run shot, and there's more breathing room for the Cardinals in the 9th inning.
Well, how about that? Cardinals sweep a doubleheader yesterday in Cincinnati, outscoring their opponent 15-1. So that was a good day for the Cardinals, who needed a couple of wins on the road, and they finally got them. We go to the guest line here just after 10 o'clock on 104.1 FM KMOX. John Rooney, the voice you just heard, and that is as excited as I've heard him in a long time, John.
So I'm a guest now.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. You're a regular contributor. You are a part of the show. You're a friend of the show.
So it should be the regular contributors line.
Well, everybody who's on this line is a guest.
I guessed so.
But you're a special guest. Not all
Yeah,
guests
you're a
are
special
equal.
guest,
John.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, we ride the special bus on these trips. Yes, we have a third bus, and one night the bus had special on it, so we all took a picture. The broadcasters and media relations, and we took a picture in front of the bus, the special bus. So yes, we are special.
You're special to us.
Well, thank you.
Doesn't that help? So how about that? That
Well,
ninth
what a
inning?
day, huh? What a day.
A great day. But let's start with that game one, that ninth
Well,
inning.
frustrating, very frustrating for the first 8 innings to have just one run and hit the ball as hard as they hit it, lining into double plays or just having one thing after another go the other way. And Oliver getting kicked out of the game. He wanted to go a whole series here in Cincinnati without being kicked out, and just didn't happen. And I think he got kicked out to keep somebody on his bench from getting the heave-ho, is what happened when he jumped over the railing. Though that jump over the railing, I'd have to give that a 10-5, not a 10. That was pretty good. But if he hit his foot on the top of the railing, that would have been an ugly video, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's risky. Like, you got to own that jump, because otherwise, like you said, John, then it goes viral for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, I'm telling you what, he jumped over that thing like he had a spring on his chair, and it was pretty good. But then the team responded after that. Yeah. And with 2 outs, Victor Scott got a pitch he could handle. Now, Alexis Diaz has been sent to AAA. He's having some issues, and I'm not sure he's 100%, because we've seen him when he's good, and he's tough to deal with when he's on his game.
You know, we're talking about the ejection. We had Ollie Marmol. We have him every Tuesday on the Gas House Gang at 12. And toward the end of, I think, 2 weeks ago, the show, one of the listeners asked him if he almost got thrown out. I forgot what game it was, and if he was trying to get thrown out or wanted to. And since that happened, he's been ejected twice. So I feel like the listeners really wanted him to get ejected, and it finally happened.
Well, it seemed to put a charge into the team, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It worked. It kept somebody, Descalzo or somebody on the bench, from getting kicked out of the game. And it was at a point in the game where, a very important time, but they weren't getting the calls.
Well, we also saw Mason Wynn make his debut as a number 2 hitter. That seemed to work out for him and be a little jolt for the Cardinals.
I like the balance in the lineup with Wynn hitting second and moving Contreras down to protect Nolan Arenado, having Wilson bat number 5. And under normal circumstances, now Abbott, a left-hander, is pitching today, so Jose Barrero is going to get a start in center field. But with a right-hander pitching tomorrow, Clay Holmes for the Mets, you'll see Scott batting 9th. There's good speed at the bottom of the order and a little pop, as we witnessed yesterday. And then you get to the top of the order with Nootbaar and Wynn to set the table for the middle with Donovan, Arenado, Contreras. And then whoever's DHing after that. I like the balance in the lineup, and let's hope they take off and run with it.
You know, you mentioned Contreras, who, he's been coming around. What have you seen differently from him that he's getting the results now that he wasn't getting in the first couple of weeks of the season?
Well, he's not wildly swinging at pitches out of the zone. He's not expanding the zone the way he was. And I think he was anxious to get something started after being so dominant in spring training. I mean, he hit everything hard in spring training. And then when the season started, then what he was hitting, he was getting fly ball outs, some ground outs, double play balls, and not very much fell for him. But now that he's taking a few more walks and he's hitting the ball hard from right center to left field, and he's getting his share of contact and good hard contact, I think that's going to pay dividends. Now we need to get Nolan Arenado back on track. Arenado has seen his average take a dip, and he won the game last Saturday with a home run to left field, beating the Milwaukee Brewers. But he's had a rough time in this series, an RBI double on Monday to drive in the only run in the game. They need to get him hot too. But as we see, Wynn heating up a little bit, Walker's taking better at bats. He hit the ball very hard yesterday, and he's back in there in the lineup against the lefty Abbott today.
You know, John, I really liked this phrase from a coach that said, we don't look at momentum. We don't talk about momentum so much, after these 2 wins like this, as we talk about trends. I think that's so smart. It's not about momentum. It's about trends with a team and positive trends that you're seeing with the Cardinals team.
Well, that's why I go back when I get ready for a game and I take a look at the last 7 to 10 games to see what a hitter's doing. And I put that down on the card. And that pretty much tells you what you need to know about who's hot, who's not, who you may need to pitch around or be more careful with than the next guy in the lineup, or set up pitching around a guy to get to the next guy in the lineup to help your causes. But I take a look at those recent games, like Lars Nootbaar. He's hitting .320 in his last 7 games, a homer, 4 RBIs. He has a double or 2 in that mix, and he's getting his share of walks. He's walked 7 times over the last 7 games, and he's doing his part to get on. And he has a record 11 walks for March and April. He extended that with a walk in the second game of the doubleheader last night. And he's doing his job in that regard. And the on-base percentage for Nootbaar over the last 7 games, .469. That tells you that he's starting to heat up again.
Meanwhile, in terms of pitching, at least from the starters' perspective, the Cardinals have been solid this year. Matthew Liberatore getting the start today. And for somebody who was sort of given, before the season started, he was given the leash. They said to him, you're going to go, and, we're going to let you have this spot, and you have an opportunity to succeed and to fail, which is important. And he's really succeeded, John. He's looked really good this year for them.
No, he has the demeanor on the mound right now, like you're taking food off my table. I mean, I belong out here, and I'm going to get you out. And even when he has a rough inning, it's not 4 or 5 runs. It might be 1 or 2, and he's able to limit the damage. But he feels like when he comes to the park, he is going to win. And when a young pitcher gets that kind of thing going behind him, he's fun to watch. And I think the teammates feed off of that too. But let's not lose what happened in the second game of the doubleheader last night with Gordon Graceffo.
Yeah,
he went the last 5 innings, picked up his first major league win because they got to about 75 pitches with Matz through 4 innings, and he had struck out 6. So they brought Graceffo in. And I look up on the board, and I see 99 on a fastball. Haven't seen that from him in the past. When he came up last year in spring training, and then he did it again. He had like 3-4 pitches, 99 miles an hour, and then settled in between 96, 97, 95 in that range the rest of the way. But he had a really hard breaking ball going around 92, throwing a changeup in the 80s. And he went out there with a plan, taking advantage of an opportunity, being the 27th man, and really impressed. John Mozeliak is sitting in the booth next to us for these games, and he even put up 99. Wow, we hadn't seen that from him. And last night, he took advantage of the opportunity, and he looks like a guy who might be a great setup man down the road. But right now, the Cardinals need a little depth in starting pitching, and he's starting at AAA. They have McGreevy and Graceffo as a couple of starters they could rely on if they need to dip down there and pick up 1 or 2.
And in terms of the bullpen, there have been some issues this year, at least other than Ryan Helsley, and he's had a lot of, hasn't had a lot of opportunities to get out there and try to save a game because they haven't been in save situations. But as you look at the bullpen over about the last week or so, how well do you think they have done?
I think they've done a lot better job, and I think we're seeing King getting more command, feeling more comfortable, and I tell you what we've seen out of a couple of the relievers out there has been very good. And of course, Ryan Fernandez was sent down, but Kyle Leahy and King, I think, could throw about every day. And they've been reliable in recent outings, and Leahy's been very reliable ever since spring training. And even before spring training, I think Leahy, what he did last year, impressed enough people that they put him in that role. Phil Maton's done a pretty good job. He's had a couple of hiccups, and every reliever is going to. Helsley has. And Helsley might get into a game today, even with a 4-run lead. He might not. But I think just needing the work, I think it's been like 5 days. But they didn't need him yesterday for the doubleheader. And in many ways, I think that's a good thing with the Mets coming up. But by and large, the bullpen's getting better.
So we are 30 minutes away from the pregame show with Tom Ackerman today. The Cardinals will finish their series against the Reds before they come home tomorrow for a game tomorrow, 11:40 first pitch. John Rooney and Ricky Horton on the call today. John, we will talk to you soon.
So glad to be one of your guests today.
Well,
one of our best.
Yeah, our best guest.
Favorite, our most special guest.
It's the best guest appearance I've done all day.
See, well, guess what? You guessed what? You get to do it again tomorrow during the Gas House Gang at 12:30.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. We can't wait to have you.
We'll be listening.
And I will be on assignment tomorrow night. Mike Claiborne will be in for me tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll see how things work out during the day.
You know, that's what Ed Farmer said about me one time when we were doing the pregame show. He said Chris Ranji is on assignment, but I wasn't. I was late to work.
Well, you were assigned to get there and you didn't make it.
It's a whole story. I'll tell you about it some other time.
That's the on assignment has been a joke for years. But it explains, in other words, if you're here on assignment, he ain't going to be there.
Oh, no.
That's it. Whatever the assignment is, he's not showing up today.
That's right.
It.
Looking forward to the game today, John. Thank you.
Me too. Let's keep the rain away.
Yep.
10:45 for the pregame show and an 11:40 first pitch from Cincinnati, the Cardinals and the Reds. Coming up on 104.1 FM KMOX, we're going to talk to Major Garrett at 10:25. So make sure you stay here for that.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
The peace lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Marcia talks about her experience with 3-day kitchen and bath.
Hi, my name's Marcia, and I had a great experience with 3-day kitchen and bath. My sister, who lives in Logan, had them do her kitchen, and after I saw the quality, I realized it was exactly what I wanted. I guess one of the things I really liked is that when I came back, I just couldn't believe how it totally changed, and everything was all cleaned up, and it looked so great. All my neighbors want to come over and see it. I had a lot of unique features that I wanted as far as the fixtures go, and Dave was able to find those things, and that made all the difference. It was a great experience, and I'm glad I did it, and I would recommend it to anyone.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Termites cause over $5 billion in property damage every year, and most of it is not covered by homeowners insurance. Protect your biggest investment with Rottler's Proactive Termite Control. Schedule your inspection today. Visit Rottler.com to get started.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
Spend my dollar. Park in a holler neath the mountain moonlight.
We've got tickets to give away to see this band, Alabama. They're playing at the Thunder Ridge Nature Arena in Ridgedale, Missouri. And if you are caller number 5 to the contest line at 955-1120, 955-1120. That is a 314 number. And your caller 5, you get to go see Alabama. Now, you're probably going to lose.
Most of you will lose.
But you may win, like the sperm race.
Yeah, just remember, all of us have won a sperm race.
Everybody has won a race at some point in their lives, and it was when they were sperm. And then some go on to win other races after that.
And
but you
most
could
of
win
you-
this today, but you're probably not.
You're probably not going to win.
However, if you lose, which is most of you,
Yes.
you have a chance tomorrow.
You do have a chance. It's a slim chance.
Yeah, you can come back tomorrow.
Negligible, almost, probably.
Text messages to 314-436-7900. This is from Scott the Plumber, who says, to show you how dumb I am, when I first met my wife 15 years ago, I had no idea that Cinco de Mayo was May 5th. She thought I was joking. We were on a date at the Bean House in Lime.
So what's the Bean House?
It's used to be a
Like a
Mexican
chili?
restaurant, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was a place called Bean House,
And did they
which
go
is
on-
closed.
Did they go on Cinco de Mayo?
Well, I don't know. They must have been talking about it. I wasn't there, Amy. That's all he said. That's all the information I have. He was on a date with his wife and didn't know Cinco de Mayo was May 5th. I bet you 25% of people listening,
Mhm.
even we have smart people listening, but I bet at least 25% have to think about the fact.
Easily 25%.
I'll tell you who knows for sure.
Major Garrett.
Major Garrett knows that Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, and he joins us next on 104.1 FM.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Game tickets? Check.
A round of cold beers? Check.
Ballpark hot dogs? Check.
Baseball is back and nothing beats a night out with the guys.
Or ladies.
At a Cardinals game.
From thrilling games and mouth-watering eats, the iconic ballpark energy, Busch Stadium is the ultimate spot for you and your crew to dive into America's favorite pastime.
Make your next night out the best one yet. Join us at Busch Stadium, where every hour is happy.
For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Currently, it is 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. A few isolated showers and thunderstorms may develop this afternoon with gusty winds, and maybe some hail is possible, but severe weather really not expected tonight. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorms with a few clouds. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 71.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services, achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. Get your application fee waived now. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This afternoon,
The Cards, the Reds.
Ameren Total Access 1045.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. It's Major News with Major Garrett, our weekly conversation with CBS's Chief Washington correspondent.
Major is also the host of America Decides on CBS News 24/7. We have the Chief Washington correspondent with us now. How's it going, Major Garrett?
Have you seen the news?
Well, are we talking about which news?
Mike Waltz.
Mike Waltz?
Yeah, Mike Waltz.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a quiz. Name all 5 national security advisors who worked for President Trump. Go.
Mike Waltz.
Go. Come on, go.
And
come on now. Come on. Quickly. 5.
Now I'm freaking out.
Fred Buttimer.
I'm freaking out, Major.
We're not good on the spot.
Yeah,
Michael Flynn, H.R. McMaster, John Bolton, Robert O'Brien, and now Mike Waltz.
Yeah, that's a lot,
5
right?
national security advisors in 4 years, 102 days.
So is that... it's not unusual for people to leave an administration. Like, I know the press secretary, they're always going through a couple of those at least. This is unusual, though, right?
Hyper unusual. For those in the audience who may not know what the National Security Advisor does, the National Security Council was created as the White House organizing hub for the State Department, the Pentagon, and all the various intelligence agencies. And that person is closest to the president in the West Wing all the time to not only brief the president, but to coalesce the policy for the administration, whoever the president is, and be the touch point when the president is otherwise doing things for the State Department, the intelligence agencies, the Pentagon, and all the key component parts of the national security apparatus. It was created as a Cold War entity to make sure the president had constant eyes on the entire national security apparatus when the president was necessarily doing other things. And to have 5 in 4 years and 102 days is not only record-breaking, but it goes to a kind of impatience or lack of confidence that the president has in this super important, non-Senate confirmable post. Defense Secretary, Secretary of State, CIA Director, all that stuff goes through the Senate confirmation process. The National Security Advisor doesn't. The National Security Advisor is chosen by the president. And once you're chosen, you're in. So it's really tight to the president and the executive branch. And Mike Waltz is no dummy. He has tremendous experience, battlefield experience, read a couple of books about it, very much on the Trump MAGA world sort of axis of interpretation of the world and world events and Trump policy. He left Congress to do this. And 102 days in, no matter how MAGA he was, he's now unemployed, a MAGA flameout, and out of Congress. That's a pretty sorry state of affairs for him.
So who steps in his place?
Who knows? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
They also, according to our reporting, have also are letting go or dismissing or firing, however you want to, whatever apprentice television show language you want to put it in, getting rid of the Deputy National Security Advisor. So there's nobody right in the queue right behind it. Hegseth is melting down at the Pentagon, firing 3 people he brought in last week and the week before. So the Pentagon doesn't have senior leadership underneath the Defense Secretary. There's now no National Security Advisor or deputy. So, I know we all sort of have defaulted to this belief that only the president matters and only the president deals with things. And to a certain extent, in the Trump presidency, that's true. But this is a level of dysfunction that he has created. Again, this position, it's his choice and his choice alone. Doesn't have to ask any senator about it. Doesn't have to go through any confirmation process. It is linear to his tastes and desires. And 5 times he hasn't been able to get what he thinks he wants out of this particular position.
Major, to that point about how many people are fired and all of the turnover that we see, there was a lot of, with the voters, a lot of fondness or reminiscing about Trump 1.0. And I'm not sure if that's what voters were expecting in Trump 2.0, but Trump 2.0 is very different. He has a very different set of people around him. Mm-hmm. What are some of the key differences that you see that voters might not realize that Trump 1.0, that's not going to show up?
No, it's not. No, not at all. And that's why this firing of Mike Waltz is so interesting to me. So Trump, the first time around, it was a surprise victory to him. I recount that in my book, Mr. Trump's Wild Ride, what election night was like and how surprised they were, how downcast they were when the polls closed. They were not expecting to win. They thought it was possible, but not probable. And once he did win and became president-elect, they did not have not only a fully formed transition plan, they didn't have a nominally informed transition plan. They started basically from scratch. And when you start from scratch, you're always trying to play catch up. And they didn't know with whom they could create alliances. They didn't know what their own Trumpian approach was going to be. It was kind of evolving, and they didn't know who was really on their side. Lots of people who were close to the Trump campaign from 2016 began calling Republicans who suddenly got on board as post-election Trumpists. They only were Trumpists after he won. So they didn't know who they could trust. And that was always something filtering through how people were hired and then fired the first time around. This time, for 4 years, they have built a cadre of quote unquote revolutionaries, people who were Trumpists the first time around and became even more hardened Trump loyalists in the 4 years out of power. And through various think tanks that were put up by people funding the Trump organizations, political and otherwise, they got themselves in a very locked arms perspective on a next Trump administration, should there be one. And they're the ones populating this administration now. They're the ones who've written all these executive orders and had them ready to go from day one, coming out in sort of a blitzkrieg fashion. That's different. So Trump has lots of loyalists. Mike Waltz thought he was among that group, thought he had proven himself in the House of Representatives, on the campaign trail, during the transition. He thought he was safe and had established, through all the things he advocated for President Trump when he was out of power in the House of Representatives, that he was in. Nope, he's out. And so that makes you wonder, within this group that thinks that they're all on board and all safe because they're all hardened Trump loyalists, what actually is your job security, and who can knife you in the back and who can make you expendable suddenly? Look, everyone thought in the first 2 weeks after the Signal revelations through the Atlantic magazine that maybe Mike Waltz was going to be out. But then Trump kept involving him in cabinet meetings, kept calling on him, kept referring to him. So I don't know what the ins and outs of this particular dismissal today are about. Everyone had sort of thought he had, Mike Waltz, weathered the storm. And the second Signal revelation was all about Pete Hegseth and sharing military plans with his wife, his personal attorney, and his brother. Everyone thought, well, now the scrutiny, the harsh scrutiny, is on Hegseth, not Waltz. Well, I don't know if Hegseth is next or not, but now we know that initial hesitancy to fire people, which everyone told us, well, Trump's not going to do it this time around. He's not going to fall for the media narratives and outside pressure. Well, okay, that was false. He did. Waltz is out. Deputy National Security Advisor is out. Who's next? And we're going to play that Washington game now in a very similar way than we did in the first Trump administration, which I didn't expect would start this rapidly.
The U.S. and Ukraine deal, the minerals deal, is this a good step forward?
It's a very well. Look, it's a step forward in the sense that what Ukraine needs in any conversation with Russia is a sense that the United States has a continued interest in its future as a sovereign country. Having a minerals deal with the United States recognizes Ukraine's sovereignty, meaning it's not going to be overtaken by Russia, and it has ongoing business interests there. Would the Ukrainians have preferred that this also include in writing security guarantees to back it up? Yes. Did they get them? No. The Trump administration says those are implied. If we have business relationships and we're extracting minerals and we're making money off it, you can be sure under a Trump administration, probably any future one, we're going to militarily protect those economic interests. That's implied. Ukraine right now would like more than implied guarantees on the security front, but it will take what it can get, and a recognition of the United States of its ongoing current sovereignty and future sovereignty is a start.
Major Garrett, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with us for a few minutes today, and we'll talk to you Thursday of next week.
It's been a busy day already.
Yeah, well, get back to work. It's about time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, sir.
You've been over there loafing all day.
That's all I do. That's all I do. I got 3 hammocks in my office. I just rotate the 3 hammocks.
That's because you're waiting on those couches.
You set an alarm, and the alarm wakes you up so that you can get into the next hammock.
Exactly. That's all I do.
There you go. Thank you, Major.
Bye-bye.
Major Garrett is the chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. His show is America Decides, which you can watch on CBS News 24/7. Hey, congratulations, Dennis in Jerseyville.
Yeah.
Going to go see Alabama on May 25th at the Thunder Ridge Nature Arena in Ridgedale, Missouri. Now, everybody but Dennis lost. That means tomorrow, one more chance to win. We'll give away one more pair of tickets for Alabama tomorrow between 9 and noon. You have to be listening for your chance to win, Amy.
Yep.
You can't win.
Do. No, I can't.
It's against the law, actually.
It is. Hey, can I do a quick update on Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan something?
Yeah, how's she doing?
Jordan Hudson. Well, did you know that Within 18 months of meeting Bill Belichick, she suddenly bought an $8 million real estate investment in Boston area and in Cape Cod.
Yes.
So, and you may think, well, maybe she was wealthy to begin with. Well, maybe her father was a fisherman and her mother manages a sex toy shop.
A sex toy shop?
Yes. She manages a sex toy
hold
shop.
Hold on. Do you think that's how they met and that's why they didn't want to talk about it?
Oh my gosh.
Bill walked into the sex toy shop?
It's in
maybe?
Provincetown.
Do you think that's what
I
happened,
do.
maybe?
I do. So anyway, real quick, all of her classmates.
Can we speculate some more?
We can, but listen to this. So her classmates are saying this is totally her. She is very controlling, not a surprise. They tried to interview her mom about the situation, and the New York Post said the mom declined to speak. But one local construction worker who used to cut Belichick's lawn was more than willing to weigh in. It's weird as hell, said 40-year-old Matt Torville.
I bet Matt Torville's he's probably interested. That's what happened, I bet. I bet
Do you
Bill
think
went.
they met at the
I
sex
bet
toy shop?
Bill went into that store and her mom said, "You would love my daughter.
She's
I
20.
have somebody for you."
She's 20 years old.
What if that's what happened? Somebody needs
Can
to look
you
into
shop
this.
at a sex toy shop when
Yes.
you're 20? I thought you had to be 21.
No, you can be an
18?
adult.
I don't.
You have to be an adult. Yeah, Frank Ladd is like, oh, no, 18. He knows.
Really? If you should have to be 21.
Hey, we got Cardinals baseball coming up here. It is the finale of the series in Cincinnati. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Don't worry. And if you missed anything on the show today, the conversation with John Rooney, Major Garrett, Doug Hoy about pharmaceuticals, listen to the podcast on the Odyssey app. Bye.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions. So it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue